Already have the midge net on. Not a good start. There may be enough of a breeze here that the midges aren't around. Oh, thank God. They were brutal up there. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, this environment's a bit different. Oh God, the midges have already found me. I'm in Scotland and it is currently midge hell. So I'm gonna probably have to put on the head net again, but I just wanted to say hi to you guys. So we're here in Scotland for a pack rafting trip. The plan is to do a 3 or 4 day trip, basically navigating a few of these lochs and then over some of these mountains. So it should be a pretty intense trip, especially if these midges are like this the entire time. But I found a really nice flat area here down from the road just up above me. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up the pack raft and we're gonna set off. Oh. Definitely looking forward to getting on the water and hopefully the breeze picks up. The one time I'm expecting there to be a nice breeze so I wouldn't have to deal with this. Of course, there's no wind whatsoever. So the midges are out in absolute full force. So this is going to be brutal if the winds don't pick up. See if I can do this with the head net on. Oh my gosh. Even with that small gap, a couple of them got in. This bag is nearly waterproof, and I've got it lined with a bin bag, and within that, everything's in dry bags. So I'm not covering it because I'm not worried about anything getting wet, and it'll be easier to access some of the stuff at the top while I'm on the boat. I guess be careful what you wish for. I didn't get to film much of me actually putting the boat in the water because, as you can see probably behind me, the winds had picked up quite a bit. So the midges aren't a problem at the moment, but I am staying very close to the shore because I'm pretty much riding waves which, you know, is good and bad. Good because it's going to make this roughly 13-mile paddle down this loch. It's going to make it pretty easy. However, it does make it a little bit more dangerous, so I am going to stay very close to the shore. I don't know if you can tell, I'm very close, just in case something does happen, so I can get to the shore quickly. This is Loch Marie. It's about 13 miles long. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's the 4th largest loch in Scotland and the largest loch north of Loch Ness. So it is a beast, and I am going to be paddling it the length of it, and then I'm going to be getting off at the end and then heading over these mountains. Whoa, there's some big rocks here. And then I've got a pretty big hike ahead of me. So I have trekking poles, which you don't see me use very often. And I'm going to be pretty much doing a couple walks on that side of the mountain, and then making a big loop and coming back around. Let's get paddling. The winds have calmed a bit. Figured I'd give you a look around. So the plan, we started down that way. The plan is around, I think it ends up being about 10 miles that I'm gonna do. 10 miles of the loch heading in this direction. Then we're going to pass the other side of that peak. We're gonna cut around the back of that and then head to another loch on this side of the mountain. And then we're actually gonna have to go up. I'm not going to be summiting that, but I have to go up it a little bit to do a little bit of a pass over to the next loch, the final loch, and then I'll come through the pass, that mountain in the distance over there. There's a pass that way, and then I'll go back to the car. So once it's all said and done, it'll be about 60K, 62, something like that. I'm giving myself 3 to 4 days to do it. I think I can do it in 3 days, depending on the weather. I chose this route because if the winds are bad, I can actually hike it and stay off the loch. It does make it quite a bit longer, but it's doable if I'm locked in because of the weather and I can't cross any of the bodies of water with the raft. So I can do it by land. That's why I have the trekking poles. Hopefully it doesn't come to that though, because with this kind of weight, that'd be a pretty strenuous hike, and I'd have to deal with the midges. So I'm hoping I can do all the lochs I have planned. Should be a great adventure. I'm sure I'm gonna love a hot shower when I get home after this one. All right, I'm gonna keep quiet for a while because like I said, this is a huge paddle. And I just want to focus on the currents and staying close to the shore, just in case it does pick up. So I'll get back to you once I start reaching some of the smaller islands that are scattered in the middle of Lake Marie. One thing after another already. It's not the midges, it's the wind. To be honest, I think I'd take the wind. My hands, I don't know if you could tell on camera, they're just absolutely tore up already by the midges. I'm not really looking forward to setting up camp tonight. Whew, finally a little relief. I don't know if you can see behind me here. Right there, some little tiny rock islands. Had to kind of navigate through them, but as you can see, they're taking a lot of the break. I had one swell kind of come up on the side a little bit, which I do not want to be on the water when it's doing that. So if that happens again, I'll get off and take a little break. But it looks like I have plenty of cover at the moment. Whew. don't know. The wind direction's not supposed to change tomorrow, and I have 2 locks that I'm supposed to do. They're about half the size of this, but it's gonna make it quite difficult if tomorrow's like this and I'm going against the current, unless I hug the shore. We'll have to see. And if I have to go on foot, I'll go on foot. Just hope it doesn't have to come to that. It's the kind of stuff I have to watch out for, so I don't get pushed into that. So once I get around this part straight ahead of me, there's going to be a whole bunch of islands sprinkled in the middle of the loch. Weather's starting to turn on me. Any case, first glimpse of the islands off in the distance right there. It's actually closer than it appears on the GoPro. So I'm gonna weave my way through those islands, maybe stop off. I need to stop and get some water. I would normally do it from the boat, but I have to keep constantly, keep adjusting. Scotland's just giving me a little bit of everything on this first day. I'm actually making really good time now. Currently riding swells. I'd be in trouble if I was going that way, which I will be tomorrow. At least I've planned a route on foot, like I said, though. Really cool islands. Oh shoot, I can see some rocks under me. God. Whoa, I gotta be careful. Don't want to run into one of those. So straight up ahead, I can actually see a small pebble beach. I'm gonna try to go to that spot because I'm dying to get some water and I haven't been able to stop long enough to get it off the boat. So that's where we're headed. You can hear how shallow it is right there. I don't know if you can see it on the GoPro. It's super shallow right here, so I gotta be careful I don't run into something like that. That's the beach I'm going for, but it's littered with really small rocks sticking out of the water. And it's getting real shallow. I just ran aground. This is not the place I want to do that this far from the island. So I'm gonna try to paddle this way. It seems to be a bit deeper in front of me. It's really peaceful in here. really cool little island. I would have loved to have camped on one of these, but I believe May through August there's no camping allowed because birds nest on the islands. I don't want to stay long. I don't think you're supposed to stay longer than 30 minutes. I'm actually probably not going to stop at any of the other islands either, just leave them be. But I did need to get water really quickly, and I wanted a little bit of a break from the wind out there. So I'm just going to drink this, get back in the boat, and then we have a bit of a paddle. I'm going to kind of wind my way through some of the islands, and then once we get past these, it'll then be pretty much a straight shot down the loch to where I'm planning to camp, which is actually not an island but off the shore, kind of down towards the end where I'm going to take out tomorrow, then do my big hike to the other loch. A really nice little pit stop. Oh, it's calm. I already drank that water. I'm gonna get some more. It's the only problem when you're on the pack raft. Been trying to drink a lot of water lately because, well, if you saw my last video, my kidney stone issue. So I've been drinking a lot of water still because I still haven't got the results back from my second CT scan. But like I was saying, the only problem is when you're drinking so much water and you're stuck on a pack raft, you can't always get off to go pee. Oh, that's good. All right. Oh, I almost hate to leave the protection of this little island. It's nice not to constantly be fighting the wind. But I'm making good time. It's only 3:30, which that's pretty good because if I'm not mistaken, I can actually see off in the distance my destination, or what my planned destination was for tonight. The wind has definitely helped a lot with the speed of this, so I don't know, depending on once I get to where I was planning on camping, I might actually, if I have enough daylight, just keep moving and maybe even try to do the 6-mile hike to the next loch. That way I can wake up tomorrow morning early. The weather should be calm that early in the morning, and get on the loch and start paddling since I'll be going against the wind. So that may be the game plan, but we'll see. Things can change. Back to paddling. Really wish I could camp on one of these little islands though. I'd come back, but it's just too far for me. It took me about 10 hours to get here, 10-hour drive. I stayed a little south of Inverness last night just because I was worried getting here if I'd be able to have enough time to actually pitch the tent somewhere. Little did I know I was able to find a spot almost immediately when walking to the loch. Oh well. Goodbye, island. They're so pretty. Look at this one. This one's got conifers. That one's deciduous. They're all so unique. Some even have sand beaches. Man, such a cool spot. Surrounded by beautiful mountains. those wondering why I decided not to bring my canoe, primarily it just was because I didn't think it would be possible to do this route with it. The first portage is a 6-mile hike. Depending on which direction I go with elevation, so that would have been absolutely awful with the canoe. And then there's another section which isn't even marked. It's not a path at all, so I'm kind of have to make my own way. I have two options. Both are over 1,000 feet elevation gain over terrain that I really don't know what it's going to be like, because I can't tell from topo maps or from the satellite imagery. So I didn't want to find out that I couldn't do it with the canoe when I got there and have to go all the way back. So that's why I'm in the pack raft. It may not be as fast, but it works well, especially when it's choppy like this, because it's so buoyant. Still just paddling. Oh my goodness. I feel very fortunate I have this wind in my back. It made today a lot easier. But that means tomorrow might be a lot harder on the other side of this mountain, so we'll see. So you can see the waves. This is actually what's been carrying me most of the way. So I'm flying through this paddle. If you catch it just right, it gives you a nice little boost. Just to give you an idea of the inside of the boat, just have my bag, water, my good camera. Really love this pack raft. I'm not sure if you can tell, but straight off in the distance, oh my gosh, that peak is where I was planning to camp tonight. Because I'm making such good time, I don't know, if I can get there by 5 o'clock, I would still have 4.5 hours. I might try to crush the 6-mile hike and camp at the other loch tonight. I don't know, we'll see. I don't want to get too ambitious on the first night. I skipped lunch, which probably wasn't smart. Just get excited. I would like to find a place in the wind though. I'm using a ridge tent tonight because I needed trekking poles for this trip. So it's not the greatest in the wind, but I don't even care. I want to be in the wind if I can, just to avoid the midge hell, which hopefully I'll be able to escape. Beautiful beach over here behind me. I don't know if you can see it on the GoPro. Whoa, big waves, big waves. All right, I gotta focus. I want to get to that point that I was planning on camping and then make my decision if I'm going to push on or not. All right, so I've made it to where I was originally planning to camp the first night, off to my left. Unfortunately, there's really no place to get off. And if I did, I'd have to hike up onto that hill, which wouldn't be a problem, but it doesn't look like there's a good place to take out. So in the morning, I was planning on crossing the loch and then getting out on my right-hand side. But as you can see as well, there's not a good place yet to get out. So I've made the decision to not camp at my original destination, but instead I'm going to push on and then just keep hugging this side of the loch to look for a spot to actually get out, to begin that 6-mile hike across to the other loch. It's only 4:40. There's too much daylight to just pitch the tent and settle in for the night. So I'm gonna go ahead, find the spot to take out, and I think I'm gonna start the hike. And if anything, maybe I'll pitch up a little bit higher so I can get some wind at night, and that'll keep the midges at bay, hopefully. Not really finding a spot to take out here. As you can see, it's all sheer rock. Hopefully around this corner up here I can find something, because the water is every once in a while getting pretty rough. All right, looks like we've reached the end of the line here. Straight up ahead, those trees, looks like it flattens out quite a bit, so I think I'm gonna pull out there, and then I have to head off in that direction. I don't know if I'll complete the entire 6-mile hike across, but at least I'm gonna start it. Just didn't have the camera on for that. That was dangerous. There's some boulders right there, and I didn't see it until I was right up on it. So in any case, I came around this, and I'm gonna try to take out on this side behind these rocks so I don't have to deal with these crazy waves. Oh, much, much better over here. Oh man, that was tiring towards the end there. Well, in any case, I'm at the end of the loch. It keeps going. I think it turns into like a little river or something, but I'm gonna go ahead and take out here, and then I gotta head that direction. Oh no. That's heavy rain. Shit. There's no way I'm beating that. I'm gonna get hit by it. Just filling up a small water bottle so I could drink it on the hike. And I'm gonna go fill this up one more time just in case I don't run into any water. I pounded a full liter just a second ago, so I should be good. Bet he knows where he's going. That actually probably would have been a nice area to camp, but I'm not going to go all the way around and try to cross to get over there. I should have paid a bit more attention to the map. So I've been walking along this edge here. So this is actually a little stream that comes in, and it's actually to where I'm going. So probably could have saved myself some walking through this, but luckily I have the trekking pole. This is one of the reasons I wanted it as well, so I could test the ground ahead of me. because in some of these areas you could probably go knee deep if you're not careful. So in any case, I have to make my way through this. There's no trail and I didn't map this section, so I just got to figure it out. So I'm gonna put away the camera, and then once I'm off in that direction and find the trail, then I'll get back to you guys. Yeah, I messed up big time. I could have saved myself probably a half-mile walk at least. This river just keeps winding, and I actually have to follow it to meet the trail. Oh my goodness. So yeah, we came from way out there now. This is not easy to walk through. I've gone up to my waist. I just thought the river was so tiny that it would be a stream that I'd bottom out in. I should have at least tried it. Oh well. So we came from the water all the way out there, and we finally got to a path. So this is actually, I don't know if this is a forestry road or what, but this will actually go to the path I need to get on so that we could start making our way back up towards those peaks and to the next loch. Wow, this is beautiful. I like how many trees there are. It's nice. So I'm actually heading to this forest. There's a river, according to the map, in there. This path turns off into the trail, and then it kind of follows that river. So that's the plan. Hopefully there's a flat spot to pitch. I've pretty much hit my limit. It's going on 8 o'clock soon too. All right, in the forest now. I would use the main camera, but it's been raining for probably the last mile. Absolutely gorgeous though. Only problem is it's way denser than I anticipated. I'm coming up on the river soon, hopefully. Should be down there at some point, but I'm hoping there's some clear spots by the river. Looks like there is on the satellites, so we'll see. But it is dense, and I don't necessarily want to pitch in the trees because I want that breeze to keep the midges at bay. I'm starting to get a little desperate. Oh, done. Oh, thank God. I was getting really worried because it is thick through here, as you can see. But right up here, it's close to the trail, but I don't like that tree. So I could maybe pitch over here, because if it's gonna fall, it'll fall the other way. Or I could try to squeeze into this space over here. Yeah, this will have to do. Well, this was one thing I was worried about. With no wind, the midges have already found me. Oh my gosh, I hate these things. Well, that didn't last long. I went looking for another spot where there's a breeze. So we're moving. I've already discovered 6 ticks on my hands. I'm gonna have to check myself really well, but they are so incredibly small. I don't even know if I'll be able to see them later. So that's really comforting. I'm gonna just lather myself with DEET. All right, this has got to do. The only reason I brought this tent is because I really wanted the trekking poles, and I couldn't bear bringing the trekking poles and a different tent that's heavier. Might have to go find some rock. I wanted wind, but I think I may be gonna get a little too much. All right, I think that's as good as it's gonna get. All right, let's move in. Oh, good timing, it's starting to sprinkle again. Try to do this quick. I'm not very happy with this pitch, but this was just utter desperation. I needed to find a spot, and after this morning with the midges, I just could not bear the thought of being surrounded by them. I just needed some wind, so this spot is pretty much a marsh, so we'll see how good the flooring keeps me dry tonight. It should though. All right, I am exhausted, so I'm just going to straighten up a little bit, and then all the meals I brought on this trip are going to be pretty quick. I even have some dehydrated meals, so it's just all about fuel on this one. All right, I'm going to get settled in. Oh. Well, good timing. It's starting to rain now. Before I relax too much, I do need to go down to the river and grab some stones, because a lot of these pegs are in some very loose ground and I just don't want to have to deal with it later. So while I still have light, I have about a little less than an hour before sunset. Sunset's I think around like 9:35 or something like that. So I'm going to do that. I'm not going to take the camera with me, just so I can get it done quickly. So for dinner tonight, I have no idea. I have some options. So one of the things I'm doing is I'm doing meals that require some boiled water, and then I'm adding, fresh vegetables and things like that, just to kind of make it a little more, I don't know, substantial and fresh, not just a dehydrated meal. But I did bring dehydrated meals as well, for pretty much for nights like this where I figured I'd be exhausted and I wouldn't want to cook. So I have some of those, but I think I'm actually going to go ahead and make one of my other meals, just because some of the fresh ingredients are already starting to look not so fresh. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do some of these just so it doesn't go bad. I think I'm going to do a chicken Alfredo Florentine. So basically I have a kind of a freeze-dried pasta sort of meal. I've got some bagged chicken, which will last without refrigeration. And then I have some of the fresh ingredients like basil, garlic, and tomatoes. So let's get started. One of the things I actually forgot to share in my gear post, I forgot it, and then I got it at the last minute, is this a little candle lantern. And this one in particular, whoops, has some of those citronelle things. I have no idea if it's gonna work with midges, but the idea is that I'm gonna just light it in the vestibule, and it's nice and safe because it's completely covered. You knock it over, it'll just go out. But hopefully that kind of gets rid of my scent a little bit. That way I can try or attempt to cook in the vestibule. So let's do that. Alright, so hopefully that'll just kind of give me some scent coverage. Try to create a little bit of a wind block for this thing without burning my shoes. Doesn't look the tastiest, but it doesn't need to be refrigerated. And it does taste like chicken, which is good. Actually messed up. I should have put the garlic and the tomatoes in first. Oh well. Alright, there we go. Chicken Florentine. Not as good, obviously, as if I would have made it homemade, but having a noodle packet with the Parmesan cheese, the powdered milk, and all of that already combined, so all you have to do is add water. Saves so much time. That and the chicken, no refrigeration required. With the garlic and the tomatoes and the basil, it can go a few days without refrigeration as well. So that makes it really nice for a backpacking meal. It's actually pretty good. And you still get to cook. For me, that's enjoyable. Even after a long day, didn't want to cook at first, but once I actually started cooking, it actually really relaxed me, which is kind of nice. It's a nice way to unwind. So I'm going to go ahead and eat this. Then I'm probably going to go ahead and get the bed out and get to sleep right away, because tomorrow is going to be a huge day. I'll have to put in a lot of miles if I can't get on the next loch because of this wind, so we'll see. Catch you guys in a little bit.
It's late, so I'm gonna go to bed. I have a really big day tomorrow. The forecast says it's gonna rain. A lot, it looks like, so hopefully that doesn't actually happen. But if it does, we'll deal with it. Either way, a lot of miles tomorrow, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to bed. Catch you in the morning. Good night.